Hi everybody, Sarah Harris here today, and I wanted to talk to you about strength training for health and well-being. So our bodies are meant to move. We're meant to walk, run, lift weights, lift loads, because that's how we were designed. So if we're not doing those things, it can have an impact on our whole body, our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health. All these things can become affected. So what I wanted to talk to you today about are what are these benefits. Before we go there, I wanted to talk about the American Health Association and what they recommend. So they recommend 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week, which is about 2.5 hours, to 70 minutes of vigorous exercise a week. And that includes 2 weight training or resistance training sessions. So I like that. However, I also believe, and this is where personal training comes in, is everybody is different. So I don't treat all my clients the same. Women are hormonally more complex than men, so they shouldn't train like men. Some men have, in the older populations, have some issues that we need to be aware of. And even in the younger populations, there's programming that is more specific and tailored to that demographic. So we want to make sure that we're choosing the right exercise program, and I'm going to get into that later. But first, I just want to give you a few of the benefits so you can get excited about weight training. So basically, the first one is it's great for your brain. It increases something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's a big tongue twister. You don't have to know it. Basically what it is miracle grow for your brain. So it's called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And what this does, we can elicit this when we push ourselves a little bit harder with aerobic capacity. But also we can get it when we push to fatigue, not overly doing it, but pushing more to a fatigue of hypertrophy. So what that means is basically 3 sets of 10 reps to fatigue. Never compromising form though. So good for the brain, those 2 things, aerobic, or like a sort of like a working aerobic, so you can get the body pumping, and also hypertrophy training of 3 sets for 3 sets for 10 reps. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is it strengthens and conditions the deep core muscles. And why is that important? Particularly so for people like postmenopausal women, is that we can have osteoporosis, and also, but for all of us, our bone health can break down. So we want to make sure that we build up those core muscles, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the ones that stick really close to the spine, because those are really important because they suspend us so we stop compressing and shrinking, but they also protect and stabilize our spine when we're moving. So to be really focused on core work, but also our hip strength, because that's like the base of our spine, and we want to make sure that that's strong as well. The other thing it does is it increases bone density. So like I was saying, there's plenty of research, all postmenopausal or premenopausal women know this, but it does increase your bone density, which is what we want as we get older. But the interesting thing is, it's not just for pre or post-menopausal women. Actually, middle-aged men require it, and so do the aging population, because again, we have that decline of bone health. So we want to make sure that we're ramping up our exercise program to encourage greater bone density. The other one is, and this might surprise you, is it balances out our blood sugar, and this is through making us more insulin sensitive. Now, you don't need to know the science about this, but basically, it's not, when I talk about balancing blood sugars, it's not just about balancing out your blood sugars for diabetes. It's actually, we all need to be aware of that. So I'm going to go into more information on that later and how we can do that with nutrition in one of my subsequent vlogs. But for now, all you need to know is if you lift some weights and do it well, you can actually balance out your blood sugar, and it has a positive effect. If your blood sugars are imbalanced, you're going to have mood issues, PMS. We can have issues with our cognitive thinking, also how we manage our weight in our body, so our metabolism affected. So remember, blood sugar is not just for diabetics, and weight training can really help. And last and not least, but is right now, I think for me, the reason I got into it was because it made me feel strong in myself. So it's my belief that when we build our bodies, and we don't have to be like huge muscle-bound things, and most women can't get to that stage anyway because we don't have high levels of testosterone like men do. However, when we're strong and we can walk upstairs and we can move things and we can be more agile in our bodies and strong in our bodies, for me, it makes my mental and emotional worlds stronger as well. And so I believe right now in what we're going through, it's a really good time to get weight training. So what I'm going to offer this week going forward is I'm going to offer you for the next 3 weeks, actually. Each week I'm going to give you a program. Week 1 is going to be upper body. Week 2 will be lower body. Week 3 will be core. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a warm-up. I'm going to give you a mobility exercise, and then I'm going to give you a couple strengthening exercises that kind of go along with what I've talked about today. And lastly, in between sets, I'm going to offer and support you with some more of my well-being strategies. Things like meditation, gratefulness, or gratitude, all these kind of things that I'm going to kind of pour into it as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, I hope that you get your weights out and get excited about weight training. There's so much benefit and you'll just feel great. Wishing you a great day.